around there. That guy is a chemist, Your Excellency. If chemical engineering was a course, psychology, you would be taking that one. Just next to you, there is a man called ATM, the other ATM machine that only drops coins. He's one of them. Your Excellency, we have our general. We pray, Your Excellency, that he can be promoted to a field marshal because we have a lot of generals around. And in absentia, we have KJ, our Excellence of Makerere University, who was almost becoming a life duty president of Makerere University. You can imagine, for 3 years he has been our guild. Therefore, I want to take this pressure. It is very unfortunate. I don't feel like I fit to call our current President of the Republic of Uganda, that's His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi, the President that has defied all odds against him. Let's have a round of applause. I don't hear you. Kyambogo Zoe. Kyambogo Zoe. I don't hear the vibe. Kyambogo Zoe. Kyambogo Zoe. Hello. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our one and only, our current President of the Republic of Uganda. Thank you so much. We are humbled to have you.
Thank you, Comrade Musili. People power.
Our power.
Our power.
People power.
People power.
Our power.
Our power.
People power.
Please take your seats, ladies and gentlemen. I want to welcome you very warmly, brothers and sisters. For starters, just like the Secretary General mentioned, you would have probably found me gone. We had expected you at 10 o'clock, but we understand the challenges that you face because we were in constant communication. Unfortunately, we had set up a meeting much earlier at midday, which we kept pushing ahead. And indeed, when we saw you arriving, it was very important that we hold the next meeting a little more so I can be able to talk to you. Why? Because I think you comrades are very important people. Very, very important. But before I even proceed, allow me to congratulate my brother Muwonge for having completed the run. It's unfortunate you didn't win, but everything that God puts in our way is an advantage. I'm glad that it was one of the forces of change that took the day. But again, like Mike Tyson, who I like very much, one time said that you get knocked down 100 times, you get up 100 times, you learn 100 lessons. In the same spirit, I want to congratulate my brother Ambassador John Senior. My name is
John Senior.
My name is
Ambassador John Senior.
Congratulations, Mr. President. Friends, especially you from Kyambogo, what you did was unprecedented. What you did was a very revolutionary act. The entire world was watching the impunity that does not only stop in the police, in the military, in the courts of law, but it has gone in all institutions here in Uganda. It is disturbing to see that an institution of learning can actually operate on utmost impunity, refusing to put an image of a presidential candidate, of a guild presidential candidate, simply because they don't like the way he's dressed, not because it's anchored in any law. That father spoke to us, ladies and gentlemen. But what you guys did should be emulated by many other institutions of learning. Congratulations again, my brother. You won amidst all odds. You defied them. And that is revolutionary. I want to thank the entire team. I want to thank Comrade Sauda Madada, Comrade Musili, President KJ, for giving the support. That is what we always require. Teamwork at its best. Now, like the SG has mentioned to you, I intended to be with you for only 5 minutes, but you see, we're going into an hour. And I don't want to leave you guys. Why? Because every time I get an opportunity to talk to young people, I feel like emptying myself into their minds.
Wow. Thank you.
Friends, in the past, it was only university students that were expected to understand the goings-on in the country. It is only university students that were striking and protesting against taxation, against corruption scandals, etc., etc. It was only a period when the nation reached a stalemate. Like SG, and I'll quote him once again. We were always disturbed by what he mentioned, always finding young people less concerned about the problems of the country. Not a day passes without a huge corruption scandal. Hundreds of billions stolen, the money that is supposed to be helping the nation. Back then, it was university students that knew about that. But there came a time even when the university students retreated. Friends, I was raised, one, by young people, but most importantly, by the poor people, by the ghetto people. And when our newly elected president mentioned that most of you, the majority of you, are children, are sons and daughters of the common people, the boda riders, the chapati seekers, the market workers, the ordinary men and women of this, our country. So I want to believe that in this, our generation, we have a connection between the land, between the knowledgeable people and the majority, who are the poor, common people. That is what we represent. We just went through an election that also was, you know, an exhibition of impunity, of murder, of lawlessness. We're all aware that the people of Uganda raised their voice. You are all aware that our people asserted their voices. But again, you know that like all other institutions have been, you know, compromised. The Electoral Commission announced something completely different from what the people of Uganda say. And not only was that wrong, but even when we went to the courts of law, you all saw what the Chief Justice did and said. That further speaks to us that we are on our own. But what does that mean? When we say we are on our own, we are talking about all the people of Uganda. But unfortunately, and also fortunately for you, is that all this is anchored on your shoulders. Whenever there's a problem, we look at the elite. In this case, we don't look at the lawyers, we don't look at the doctors, we don't look at the members of parliament, we don't look at the so-called intellectuals that we see. We look at the young people like you. You have such a load on your shoulders because you are young and you are aware. They say ignorance is bliss. You don't have that luxury of that bliss because you are not ignorant. You know what the problem of our country is. And that is why I told you that when I get an opportunity to talk to young people, I feel like emptying myself into their minds. Friends, we have a challenge as a generation. While we celebrate our win, we are only supposed to celebrate the fact that we know what the problem is. Franz Fanon was quoted here that every generation must know its mission and either accomplish it or betray it. We are past the first step. We know our mission as a generation. That is to transform this, our country, Uganda. That is to make sure that this is indeed our country as a citizenry, as the people. Not a country of the soldiers, not a country of one family, not a country of the few. You are aware that where you are is not who you are. You are first world brains stuck in a third world country. But again, I also refuse to believe that we are stuck in a third world country. I only am convinced of recent that we are stuck with third world leaders. We are stuck with leaders who don't care whether we live or die. As we speak right now, young people like you are being abducted, tortured, murdered in cold blood. Those that are lucky not to be murdered are being imprisoned.
They'll pay for it.
For no reason. Just yesterday, many of people that were involved in peaceful demonstrations, which are provided by our law, they are provided by our law, but are being treated like rebels, while rapists, while thieves, while con men and con women using the name of God are going scot-free. While people that abuse the rights of citizens are meeting the president. That is where we are as a nation. It is very, very important that we come face to face with the reality of the country that we are living in. It is very, very important. There has been every effort to vulgarize this, our cause, as usual politics. But let's look at the facts. Our hospitals continue to go without drugs. Go to the education system, messed up completely. Go to our hospitals, go to the police stations. You will find people that have spent a month in police stations. Why? Because the OC or DPC wants to extort money from them. That is where we are, ladies and gentlemen. It's unfortunate that this should have been sorted by our grandfathers. It did not get completed. Then our fathers and mothers had to sort it. They did not. Yes, I agree with you, President Bazira, that we shouldn't blame them. But again, here is a generation that will take the blame if we do nothing about this. Who is going to blame us? We, our children, and our children's children. Why? Because we know. If we didn't know, that would be a different thing altogether. But we know. But that having been said, I want to encourage you, friends. We have by and large one. One that the most powerful of our mind anymore. They know we are an enlightened generation. We know everything that is wrong. And we have taken a step further to speak about them. That is why you find other than you can't do any more that they can't convince more. Because we are with leadership that cannot give that people the fingernails for not agreeing with them. What explanation is the going to give you for preparing an election and a campaign? What explanation are they going to give you? Are we going to take because in a generation where those boundaries are already broken with time and with your effort? We can no longer be divided by our enemy. We can no longer be divided by our genders, by our classes. We can no longer be divided by our religious affiliation. That is something to celebrate. However, what do we do that? I personally always feel a load on me, which same load all of you have on your shoulders. We all this country. We have that knowledge, whether educated or uneducated. For you educated people, and it's you know what's wrong with our economy. You know what's wrong with our education. You know what's wrong with the way we're being. I know how we can make it better. For those that are uneducated, we have to work because past 7, they are not allowed to work. Also, what connection between COVID-19 and you can find a connection. But because General Museveni feels like that is his easiest way of keeping people under slavery and under subjugation, he does that. The farmer knows the kilo of maize is as low as 200, sometimes 300 shillings. A villager knows Because 2 or 3 debes of coffee are the ones that buy a kilo of meat. Okay? Knows. Because a liter of milk is as low as who comes from Barara. 400 shillings. Okay? A nation. We are connected by the aspirations we want as a nation, as a generation. So what makes it your duty, you who are here, everyone, my brothers and sisters. For starters, just like the Secretary General mentioned, you would have probably found me gone. We had expected you at 10 o'clock, but we understand the challenges that you face because we were in constant communication. Unfortunately, we had set up a meeting much earlier at midday, which we kept pushing ahead. And indeed, when we saw you arriving, it was very important that we hold the next meeting a little more so I can be able to talk to you. Why? Because I think you comrades are very important people. Very, very important. But before I even proceed, allow me to congratulate my brother, Muwonge, for having completed the run. It's unfortunate you didn't win, but everything that God puts in our way is an advantage. I'm glad that it was one of the forces of change that took the day. But again, like Mike Tyson, who I like very much, one time said that you get knocked down 100 times, you get up 100 times, you learn 100 lessons. In the same spirit, I want to congratulate my brother Ambassador John Senior. My name is John Senior. My name is Ambassador John Senior. Congratulations, Mr. President. Friends, especially you from Kyambogo, what you did was unprecedented. What you did was a very revolutionary act. The entire world was watching the impunity that does not only stop in the police, in the military, in the courts of law, but it has gone in all institutions here in Uganda. It is disturbing to see that an institution of learning can actually operate on utmost impunity, refusing to put an image of a presidential candidate, of a guild presidential candidate, simply because they don't like the way he's dressed, not because it's anchored in any law. That father spoke to us, ladies and gentlemen. But what you guys did should be emulated by many other institutions of life. Congratulations again, my brother. You won amidst all odds. You defied them. And that is revolutionary. I want to thank the entire team. I want to thank Comrade Sauda Madada, Comrade Musiri, President KJ, for giving the support. That is what we always require. Teamwork at its best. Now, Like the SG has mentioned to you, I intended to be with you for only 5 minutes, but you see, we're going into an hour. And I don't want to leave you guys. Why? Because every time I get a dictatorial regime has two approaches. It has a carrot to either your fear or greed. If you have recorded that Comrade Basira is past that level of fear. I remember visiting you and your predecessor, Comrade Tunduru, in Gingis, having been arrested as a step to India. What we my so when they fail in Jimmy, they are going to appeal your way. Like all of us, they are going to reach out to all of you. They are going to pray you. That has been Mr. 7 the local leaders that are elected, even the university leaders that are elected, you will reach you bring kind of indecent positives. I want to remind you that when you not only reaching for your grade, all he wants from you is not cooperation. He wants your credibility. All of you comrades risk coming here to see me because of the credibility you attach to me. And I'm very aware that the day I change my word, none of you will want to associate with me. So it is that credibility that makes us stand out as noble men and women. Never lose it. An African man, that's the important piece of wealth that you have. And I take it away, like you've seen very many examples. After taking away that credit from you, you are valuable. You won't be having anything to tell people. And that is when they attack worse way. They make you valuable. So we will be more and more. But I want you to know that the nation is relying on you. The nation is relying on us. I'm always quick to conclude by saying you can be a Kyagulanyi. Don't look at me. Comrade Basira mentioned, I'm also a son of one side vendor. I was meeting all women when I was night away. But now I'm here to provoke you to take more time to this our country, because we are stuck here. This is where we're born, this is where we're going to grow old, and this is where we're going to be buried. I want to remind you that this is actually going to live for you, for some of you. We are setting this country for a country that our children are going to live in. So every day that you're going to take an assessment, what have you achieved today? And if you miss one or two days, the way you change this country, you don't have any discipline way. Those that are ruling over us look at us like a farm. Okay? They're looking at us like a farm. And all of us are like livestock. But again, I want to remind you of one guy that I love so much. His name is Malcolm X. He said, nobody can make you a slave without your permission.
Yo!
Nobody. You will have to permit him or her. How do you permit him to hold you under control? They will need to be of you to hold the entire, Kyambogo or Barara University or any other community. They have to pick some of you. That is how the colonialists managed to control us. We were in millions. They came not in thousands, not in hundreds, but in tens. How did they manage? They picked a few of us, appealed to their greed and their fear, but most importantly, their greed. Those who didn't want to share the beauty of this, our country, with the rest of those that were living then. They compromised them and they used them to enslave the rest. The same thing was done during slavery. There were two types of slaves. There were the house slaves and the plantation slaves. The house slaves are those ones that lived with their masters in the boys' quarters. The word boys' quarter did not start here in Africa. Back then, when you're a slave, no matter what age you are called a boy. Even when you're an 8-year-old man, you are called a boy. And that is why there was always a small house by the side of the master's house called a boy's quarter. And that is why they take the big bedroom of the house, calling it a master's bedroom. Those are slave narratives. So for those slaves that lived in the boys' quarter, they were close to their master because they always ate master's food, what he left. Okay? They always thought they wear better clothes. And yes, these slaves loved their master more than they loved themselves. And they always bragged. They were always used to enslave those ones, the majority, who were at the plantation. But those that lived at the plantation, they hated their master because they were intelligent. They knew they deserved to be human beings like their masters. So the dictators of this generation use the same trick. They divide you. They pick what belongs to all of you. Take it, pick just a little crumb of it, and give to a few of you. And you'll find your fellow student bragging, oh, I'm the only student who's driving a car. But you're driving that car at the cost of the goodness of all the students. So be aware. Do not be the good slave in your university. They're going to try to use you. Because General Museveni is so timid. He knows. He reads books. He sees how all dictators end. No dictator has ever lived forever. No. And no dictator has ever won the people. No. So, according to his analysis, he sees his time is out. He has watched his friends, the Gaddafis, the Mugabes, the Bashirs, the Mubaraks. They are gone. He sees he's going. And that is why you see he's unleashing brute force on all of you. And he's going to come for your credibility. And now this is where we have to answer Frantz Fanon's riddle. He says, every generation must discover their mission. We have already discovered our mission, and we passed that. Now, it is that junction. Either fulfill it or betray it. The choice is ours. We are going to fulfill that mission or betray it by what we think, by what we do, and by what we teach others. I can only play my role. Lubongoya can only play his role. Sauda can only play her role. All of us can only play our roles. You need to play your role, ladies and gentlemen. And I must say, according to what I see, you are playing your role perfectly. Just hang in there. Don't give up, friends. Let's do what we must do. There's nobody else we must look at but ourselves. I'm saying this, like I told you, I intended to speak to you for only 2 minutes and run to the next meeting. But I'm saying this because I'm not sure I will be talking to you tomorrow. Everybody that speaks the truth is in very grave danger. We are being abducted every day. So make sure every day that passes, pass that message. Let us be like a virus, a good virus. Okay? Let us be like an atomic reaction. Let us spread this message. Friends, we are almost late. Every day that Museveni rules over our country, every day 19 women die giving birth. Every day. Okay? Every day that Museveni presides over our country, more than 300 children die. Every day, those are under the age of 5. Now, these are Ministry of Health statistics. I've not talked about how many people are being abducted and being murdered in cold blood because we don't have the statistics. But we know that every day our human rights desk receives numerous complaints. My child was abducted from Kayunga. My son was taken from Bari. Just yesterday, a young man was being buried in Arua. 4 of them taken, tortured, and murdered. They had left Arua, going to work in Kachira as casual laborers, but simply because they had NUP membership cards. So that is where we are. We cannot wait. We cannot be patient. Every day that goes by, your education is being messed. Why? Because General Museveni is using COVID-19 as a political weapon. He has no interest in your education whatsoever. He's so intimidated by young people being intelligent. He prefers slaves. It is important that you take it upon yourself. Here is a time when we must take the destiny of our country in our hands. We recently called out the people of Uganda to come out and peacefully and legally demonstrate and protest against this injustice. Not only against a stolen election. Friends, we have every reason to protest. Just look around you. Look at the conditions you're studying under. Look at the road you pass. You want to get angry? Go to a hospital. Just visit any police station. Just visit any health center. So we have every reason to be angry. We have no reason to smile about. Take it on you, ladies and gentlemen. I would have taken more time talking to you. Unfortunately, I will have to leave you shortly because I have another engagement. I'm very happy to meet you. I look forward to hosting you again, ladies and gentlemen. And like SG said, we had so much to talk about, so much to hear from you. We don't only want to be communicating to you, but we want to hear from you because we believe you go through even much more than we go through. So it's important that we know that each other is all that we have. And to thank you for taking time to come and meet me and meet the team. And to thank you very much for standing on the right side of history. Whatever you're doing, don't call it a small thing. All those small and big actions that you do are going to amount into the ultimate liberation of this, our country. Do not undermine your contribution. I used to undermine my contribution because I was only a singer, only an entertainer. You might think, you're only a blogger, you're only an activist, you're only a student. My friend, you are as powerful as anybody else. Start believing in yourself. Start evoking that spirit in you. If there's anything for you to take away from here today, I want you to take away something called confidence. Because confidence is everything. Evoke it out of you. They don't buy it in any supermarket. No, it is born in you. It is you who kills that confidence, and it's you who waters that confidence to come up. Okay? So, evoke that confidence. Believe in yourself. Make sure you share it with anybody and open up your mind to learn. Let us learn as much as possible. Let us pay attention to this, our country, because nothing else is going to make sense if we don't fix this, our country. But if we fix this country, friends, you are going to live in a country that you will be proud of. We have the ability to transform this country in our lifetime. Okay? What we are doing, what you are doing, you're not doing for your children, but for you. This we can achieve in our lifetime. And to thank you very much, and congratulate you, Mr. President, and your campaign team. May God bless you. Aluta continue.
Kyambogo Zoe.
Zoe.
Kyambogo Zoe.
Zoe.
That is not enough as I expected. The vibe. Kyambogo Zoe.
Zoe.
Let us just applaud our excellence. Kyambogo zoe. Kyambogo zoe. Ra. Cha. Cha. We can get seated. Since I think many of us would want to get this historical selfie. Some pic with the president. Hello? Some pic with the president. Let us just get somewhere and get this pic. But Mr. President, as Mr. President, as we are getting prepared, Mamba Busia Vanis, who works as our speaker, Makerere University, is also around. Honorable Kabuye from Kasai South. Our student at the
updates online page. Kyambogo University on Akolwalero.
Is also around.
His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Eranga balese wini yaabwe nakolwalero so meeting roto bwabadde ebigambo mubiwulidde kasubire nti bitukoze bulungi nnyo network etusumbwa olwokuba nti abanyampi bangi naye tugenda kubeera nga tukitereeza. Thank you so much.